So, I mean, obviously, I know Eddie Van Halen was like, top.
Yeah.
Who's some of the other people? I mean,
Well, I mean, my classics, it spans, right? Like, I loved AC/DC, so I loved Angus Young. I loved Black Sabbath, so I loved Tony Iommi. Early Scorpions with Uli Jon Roth.
Yeah.
Where he was doing stuff before anybody else was doing stuff. So that, to me, that was like, and you look back now, and he was the predecessor for so many, like, flashy players.
People don't talk about that.
No,
it's the people that he influenced who they talk about.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, I'm such a geek that there's a lick in Sails of Charon by the Scorpions that Eddie just changed the key and put it at the end of the Ice Cream Man solo. And ends a little different. But the fingering, it's this pattern. And then Ed took the same pattern and started on the 5 instead of the major third. He starts it on the 5th. And my brain works like that.
Was he thinking that way too?
Well, I mean,
you're analyzing it.
I'm analyzing it as another guy who takes somebody else's lick and disguises it to be mine.
Right.
So he did that with Richie Blackmore and Uli Jon Roth, and never mentions those guys. It's like, oh, I just listened to Clapton. And I'm like, you lie.
When you say his, who?
Man, you deepest respect. Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
But he, and somebody actually out in Pasadena showed him this tapping thing, but everything that he took, he made his.
Yeah.
And not only that, I don't think there will be another guy like that ever.
I'm like, there's like maybe the two biggest guitar players that have changed the world was when Hendrix showed up and then Eddie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously Jeff Beck.
I mean, before, of course, Jeff Beck, to this day, to the day he passed, he played one note and you knew it was him.
Yeah, one note.
It was such a signature.
With no pedals.
Nothing.
Right, no pedals. He just...
Well, he had, obviously he has for different flavors and stuff like that. But before Ed, because I say I'm 11 and 11 years old, Ted Nugent.
Never heard anybody say that. Now, Ted he's mellow compared to us.
Dude.
Could you imagine the three of us in a trio?
See? Oh my God. Ted Nugent, when I was 11, like I had double live gonzo and I dropped the needle every day when I got home from school. So one day I learned just what the doctor ordered. And the next day I learned the stranglehold. And then the day after that, I learned the song gonzo. And then I kept learning. And then it wasn't just his, and this is another thing I don't think about or talk about much. He was clean and crazy.
Right.
So it kept me clean. When my friends started smoking and drinking and then marijuana in the 7th grade, I didn't touch the shit because Ted Nugent didn't touch the shit.
Holy shit.
It was such an impression.
Yeah.
And then when I was 14, I went to a Ted Nugent concert and I was completely blown away.
Well, he's incredible live.
Yeah.
With the long hair. And he was a rock star.
He was a Jesus with a guitar.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And that got my fingers going. And then it was when I heard Eddie Van Halen, like everybody else, it was like, there's no way that's a guitar. That's a violin or something. Nothing sounds like that. Yeah. And then you learn the Eddie Van Halen licks, and then you go to your local music shop and you can do this, but you've never seen anybody do that, which is actually a Billy Gibbons thing. But what was that? Oh my God. And then you go home and then you got that in your bag and you got this in your bag. Yeah. And then at 16, 17, I'm like, okay, can't be a copycat. So what I grabbed from Edward Van Halen at that point was, and I saw them live, 80, 81, 83, 84, life-changing. Like, it was like 4 superheroes flying all over the stage.
Dude,
and I'm like, it literally left the standard so high that nobody could touch it, right? So aside from that, what I'm taking from Eddie Van Halen, I'm going to stop tapping. I'm going to do different things with the whammy bar, or maybe not use the whammy bar at all. And he's a patterns guy. I can be a patterns guy. At that point, I took some bouzouki lessons, and it turned my picking into madness. Because there's no room for error. There's no distortion. It's clean. The strings are doubled.
Very busy, right?
So yeah, you're picking like this. And then when you pick up a guitar, it's easier and you have gain. So holy shit. People are like, where's that attack coming from? I took some bouzouki lessons. Bazooka what?
Yeah.
So I mean,
That
all
was
this stuff just gets thrown into the bowl, and your paint can, and your palette is just. And it was me. Eddie was so inventive. To me, it was like, I have to be inventive. I'm not going to play Eddie Van Halen licks. I'm going to play my licks, and people are going to go, wow, where's that from? And wow, what's that? And that? And whose lick is that? Well, it's mine. What? Why'd you do that? You know, when you're growing up with all these guys that are trying to do their thing, my thing became my thing really early on.